All right. Really, the only injury that I have any information on right now is Fish, and he's got a torn Achilles tendon, and they're observing now exactly how bad, what needs to be done here, and how soon. So I'll get you that another time. Good team win though for our football team. Our hat and respect go out to Buffalo and the job in which they've done there with their football team. So it was a good game. We appreciated. I mentioned this after last night after the game, but we sure appreciate all the people that have helped make this thing possible to get us through the season. Not only here in Kansas City with Mark and his crew and Mark Donovan and his crew, but also with the National Football League and the nice job that they've done of pushing this thing forward and giving people hope. So that's been a real positive, I think, as we've gone. Now we got a couple more weeks here, so we got to stay with the protocols that have been placed before us and stay strict to those and get that part done. I thought the coordinators had a good plan, and the players executed it and did it with great energy and intensity, but yet at the same time we have room to keep growing and improve here. So we'll work on that the next couple of weeks. We're putting the schedule together as we speak here. We're formulating that. Ted will have a schedule for the media after he gets the information from the league on what can be done and when it can be done. And some of our practice schedules work around that. Likewise, that second week. So we'll be able to give you a little bit more finalized picture here later. My hat goes out to Brett Veach. I mean, we've had these injuries along the way here, and I just look at the job that he's done on bringing players in here that can play and that can step in when somebody gets hurt and we're not losing, a beat there. So, and his guys bust their tail. They kind of get, at this time of the year, they kind of get pushed aside, I think, in people's minds and forgotten. But without his hard work and his guys' hard work, obviously none of this is possible. So, and then, like I mentioned, we look for that challenge of playing the Buccaneers. They're a good football team and unique situation that they're playing at home. I mean, that's never happened. But my hat goes off to him. Bruce Arians and his staff have done a nice job. Their players have done a nice job. And, again, we look forward to that opportunity to play them. So with that, time first.
Let's go first to Bob Fesco. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Andy, with everything that you mentioned that you guys had to go through this year and really what we're all going through, kind of this year, is this one any sweeter because of everything you guys had to navigate along the way to get here? And Brad, I'll have a follow-up too.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the fact I'm talking to you guys on this WebEx here. So, I mean, it's or a Zoom meeting. It's different. I mean, I get to see dogs and jumping on people and this and that. I mean, it's wild. So it's definitely unique. I just hope that we've been able to bring hope to people and some relief for those that have suffered from this thing. So and that we're able to go forward. We're doing that. We're progressing and it is unique. I guess it's sweeter to this point. It's more unique, I think, than sweeter. It's the fact that we've gotten to this point is a neat deal, I think.
Andy, how optimistic are you? Maybe you could get Mitchell Schwartz back for this game.
Yeah, I can't even tell you that. I don't know how optimistic I am with that. But I know the other guys are doing a nice job, and we should be okay there with the guys that we have. Will step in, and then if Mitch can, if he can work it out where he can go, that's great. But there's nobody that wants to be there more than him. But I can't tell you I'm that optimistic about it.
Let's go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Coach, this Buccaneers team is one that's gotten hot down the stretch. Franchise record, 7-game winning streak. What have you seen from them on tape? I know it hasn't been long that you have an opportunity to look at it, but what have you seen over that stretch? And Brett, I'll have a quick follow-up.
Yeah, so we've dug in on them this morning and try to get a jump on that. We understand that it's a little bit chaotic when you, with all the media obligations and the things that go on during these next couple of weeks. So we're trying to get a jump on it the best we can before complete chaos hits. So, and what you see is a team that's not making many mistakes, that is got a high level of execution going on offensively and defensively. Variety of looks on both sides of the ball, solid on special teams. And you can see where Tom's leadership on the offensive side is showing. He's playing at an extremely high level, and for somebody his age, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable for a 25-year-old to be doing what he's doing, let alone a 43-year-old, or So, and then defensively, they're fast and they're always on the attack. Not a lot of guys that do it as well as Todd Bowles does it, and he's got a large package there of goodness that he throws at you, and so you got to be on your toes when you're playing against his team or his defense.
And then we always hear about Super Bowl week being this beast, but it feels like this year you all have more control over the schedule than before. Is that an advantage, disadvantage? How are you guys handling that?
Yeah, well, it's the first week similar to what you had last year. The one thing that you're minus is that long travel day, media day, that thing. You've still got it, but it's right here at home. So where you might lose a day, you don't necessarily lose a day on this. But other than that, you're still going to have obligations, tremendous amount of obligations to the media, and you got to work your schedule around that so that it fits. And so that second week it's a little bit of a challenge, yeah.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask you about last night really quickly. Not many guys can turn a 9-yard slant into a 71-yard gain like Tyreek did. Just curious, when you turn the tape on, what impressed you most about Tyreek's effort on that play?
Yeah, well, he probably went, when they say as the crow flies, and that he took a different direction. So he went sideways, and it was probably double of what the crow would fly if it went straight ahead, right? So but he did what he needed to do. The best part of that was that early part when he split the two defenders, or three defenders really, and then headed for that left side of the field. And there are not a lot of guys that can do what he did on that. And then he came over and he apologized for not scoring, that he's gotten slow in his older age. And I'm going, yeah, okay. So, but he's a unique guy that loves to play the game. I love that about him.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, good afternoon. Specific to Andrew Wiley, I think yesterday was the second time this season that he's had to kick out to right tackle for a game. What is it about his versatility you like? And heading into the Super Bowl preparation week, is he probably your long-term answer at right tackle, barring a Mitchell Schwartz return?
Yeah, well, he went to right tackle and Remmers went to left tackle. I mean, they just kind of flipped, and it was pretty seamless move there for him. But they practice that during the week. Andy Heck does a great job of maneuvering people around and giving them opportunities to play all the different positions. So, and we've got, this is where Brett comes in. I mean, his thought of bringing Wiz here, and Wiz is able to step in a guard, and he's experienced. And he's done that at all these different positions where, I don't he's he doesn't miss a beat. He's always a step ahead and making sure that he covers the bases. That's much appreciated by the coaches, and I know the players have a ton of respect for him too.
Go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Andy, you touched on this in Herb's question, but I'm just wondering, between a couple guys opting out before the season and then a bunch of injuries, you've really had to dig deep on that offensive line depth, and was just wondering how you've managed to keep those guys playing well enough to get you guys to help get you guys to a Super Bowl. And Brad, I'll have one quick follow-up as well.
Yeah, listen, they're talented guys. It's and then they're, in some cases we've had some young ones step in. One of Missouri's finest, and then again, we've had some older guys step in, and so. But that combination has been able to get us through some games here, and most of all, I think the quarterback trusts them, as do the running backs, and there's good communication. I wouldn't slight, though, the fact of how Andy tends to it, and how he moves people around, plays to those guys' strengths with the run game, and it's a great situation.
Yeah, and obviously I know you guys like Mike Remmers because you signed him, but have you learned anything about him during his time with the Chiefs? Something maybe?
Yeah, he's dirty tough, and I joke he's like a throwback. He is Redbeard, right? He's it, man. He breaks out the sword and he's ready to go. So I appreciate him and his toughness, and he's a smart kid. He's really fit in well with the whole program here.
Go next to Vahe Gregorian. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy. Brad, I'll have a quick follow after this, too. Andy, you've talked about it in bits and pieces, but I wonder, when you think about the couple, 3-4 things that enabled you just to get back to this point, what comes to mind?
Yeah, well, I just think the ability that I'm going to come back to Brett here real quick on this, but for him to be able to sign back the players that he signed back, to keep the team as whole as he possibly could. Easier said than done there, but I think that continuity between the players and the coaches has been a positive up to this point. So, and that we all kind of know what needs to be done to get here, and everybody just did it. And then I think, listen, the fact that guys did their best to try to stay healthy, there had to be a certain dedication of that, so we didn't have a whole position miss a game or that. So, I mean, things were going to happen. We knew that. It was just a matter of staying as disciplined as you possibly could, but still having your family and wife, significant other that has a life to live too. So then you kind of work through that. So, but these guys, I thought, did a nice job with that. Of not, if they were infected, it didn't spread over to the remaining part of the team.
And then just the follow up is, in your experience, how rare a gesture was that when Tom Brady came over to see Patrick in the locker room? Is it unprecedented or pretty rare?
Well, yeah, I'd say it was unique. I mean, he didn't need to do that. He is arguably the best quarterback ever to play the game, and he surely didn't have to come over and say a word, but he did that. And I think for a young quarterback to have somebody of his stature do that, I think was a tremendous gesture. And it was heartfelt. I mean, he didn't have to do it, and he wasn't putting on a show. There was nobody there, to really see it. So, it was just he and his respect for Pat, and then in return, Pat's respect for him.
Got 3 more. We'll go right down the line, starting with Sarin. Go ahead, Sarin.
And Brad, I'll have a follow-up as well. Coach, first of all, were you surprised? Did it maybe take you? I guess just surprised in the second half that Buffalo went for field goals. Were you maybe a little more ready for them to be trying for it on fourth down with the defense?
Yeah, Sarin, I didn't think much of that. They've always been aggressive. They, to a point. I mean, within reason. I think they felt that was the right thing to do at the time. And towards the end of the game, they got one onside kick. I'm sure he felt like we've got another one in the back. That kid actually he does a nice job with those. So he came out with points and put it in a position where a score or two, they could, take the lead.
And I know, Coach, you're not at the end, right? You've got one more game to play, 2 more weeks, but you've talked all year about having a target on your back as the champion. And, for all of us covering this team, this is our first time covering a championship team as well, right? So it was new for us. Do you, as you've gotten here, can you look at it and say it is more of a fatiguing year? You guys have clearly been up to the challenge because here you are back in the game, but yeah, it really does wear you down more having that bullseye and being the defending champion.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that the thing I can see that is a positive was the record that we persevered through some tough games, and so the mental toughness to do that individually each week was important. Knowing that you're going to get people's best shot, and so there's that respect for it. I didn't feel as much fatigue to it as just you can allow yourself to fall the other way and to start questioning and that. And the guys never did that. They didn't question each other. They didn't question the coaches. They stayed focused and delivered. And so however that falls in, so I'm not sure how to categorize that, but I just think that that might have been the biggest challenge. I mean, you've seen that with teams when things aren't going right, they just kind of fall apart there. And our guys have not done that. They've all stuck together and trusted.
We'll go last to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, always appreciate the time. You've mentioned Veach a couple of times today, but I'm just curious, one, you've been around the league for a while. How rare is it for you to be able to have a personnel guy who's in charge over there that you get along with and have such a great relationship with? And two, how valuable is it to have someone who understands your thinking and really can anticipate your needs and what you want in that position?
Yeah, listen, I've been very fortunate in this business to have good guys. Brett's and my relationship is unique because he started as my administrative assistant. So I've never had that before where he's reached out or someone's reached that level and still been working with me. So that part is unique. He knows all the coaches. He knows what we're looking for. He sat in all the meetings as an assistant and now as a general manager. He's got his own personality. I mean, all the guys were different personalities. He's got his own personality. He's got drive that's second to none, and he's a good evaluator. So I think we all appreciate it, even though he's hyperactive. We all appreciate it. He does a great job with it. So,
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.